Right then.
We're back.
We're back. We are back.
After a while.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It's been a few games and stuff, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's been a few games. We made an arrangement once or twice, to be fair, but it's been.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's. I feel like it's been insanely busy for me. It's been busy for you. It's been busy for the club. Like we've had all of a sudden a relentless run of fixtures, haven't we? Do you know, kind of out of nowhere. So it's been hard to find a time to kind of breathe, to be honest.
We've got a set list which I did a couple of weeks ago. We talked about doing one at the Ashton United FC FA Cup game, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then I didn't really fancy doing one after.
No. I think we had a bit of fire in our bellies after the Saturday, but then the replay just kind of knocked the winds out of our sails. So
so we've got a set list. Should we go through traditionally comings and goings?
Yeah, start there.
Yeah, and go through that. We've got a lot of games to go through, and then going to give a bit of a shout out first.
Yeah, go on.
So we're doing these, and loads of people have said they've enjoyed them, which surprised me because who'd want to listen to us?
We're amateurs. Yeah.
Jimmy Parsons.
Oh, really?
Big fan.
Hello, Jimmy. We need to put an Easter egg in now, don't we? See if he actually listens or if he's just being polite. Do you know what I mean?
So he was asking us when we're going to do one.
Oh, really?
So I said we would. So this was for you, Jimmy.
Well, there we go.
Dedicated.
In name of.
Yeah. So comings and goings. Chris Pifty. We discussed him. The last one.
Bit of a funny one, really. That wasn't it.
I think Emil scared him off.
Yeah, absolutely. After Emil sent him on a merry-go-round to get him signed on. If you don't know, Emil sent him an address to sign the paperwork to sign him on, but unfortunately it was the wrong address he sent him. So he went on a bit of a merry-go-round around Atherton. So yeah, bit of a funny one that.
I did see he had been injured and he has been playing back at Chatterton, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Moya Malumo.
Yeah.
Announced he was leaving, or did we announce he was leaving?
I think he was 50. Yeah. Where's he gone?
I don't think he's gone anywhere. But he didn't play in a couple of games.
No.
And I sort of thought, I can't see anyone staying if they're not.
No, I know, and I think with Mo, it never quite worked, did it? Do you know what I mean? Like he was good, he was impressive on the ball, he'd get there, but he never looked like he was gonna score. Do you know what I mean? He never gave off that sort of confidence you would expect of a striker, did he?
He did some good work.
Yeah,
but out wide.
Yeah.
But he made an impact.
Of course he did.
We remember him fondly. So.
And he was a hard worker. That's all we can ask for. Hard work, commitment.
Yeah.
He loved the club, loved wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
But I think perhaps he's going to be one of those that might drop down a division. Do you know what I mean? Just to get the legs in there.
But cheers, Mo. So Cummings in. Well, Ethan Hamilton came into the ELO from York. And
very briefly.
I think he's gone.
Yeah.
We didn't see much.
Again. No.
But thanks to Ethan for his efforts.
Yeah.
Lewis Coulson came in, who is a left back.
Yeah.
And I was a bit surprised at first.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, I thought that Josh Askew.
Yeah.
I thought that position was his own.
Yeah.
Josh had a rough ride against Ashton United.
Yeah,
he
did.
But then Alex Burns were consistently one of the best wide players in this league.
I think Josh. I think also the game against Matlock, and I think Baseford, he kind of weren't his strongest. Do you know what I mean? Look, he works incredibly hard. His effort is 110% there. But I think Josh himself would admit that actually being a bit of an impact player off the bench might suit him a bit better. Like he still seems very happy. Do you know what I mean? Even despite being on the bench, like he came on against FC United, didn't he? And he certainly played his part. So I think. I don't know. We've not heard anything, but I would imagine Chaddy's always talks about honesty, hasn't he? So I would imagine Chaddy's had a conversation with him, and I think that's where that honesty comes into play, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? But Lewis Coulson's been really impressive at left back. He has the pace. He's got the kind of technical knowledge. I feel like he seems to run that left flank with a bit of confidence. And to be honest, I think he's actually been unlucky. I mean, we got referees bullet pointed, and I think he's certainly fallen victim to a couple of decisions that were difficult for us to accept almost. So yeah,
a lot of referee decisions have been difficult. But
absolutely.
yeah, me and Rob came to training the other week, and Lewis came over to check what we were doing, and that's kind of part of the reason we're there. You know, we'll show up at training. I've done it over the years, God's training, just to show my face and sort of build bridges between you know, different parts of the club.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lewis showed an interest, which you know is appreciated.
Yeah.
I think very technically gifted player.
Definitely. Very calm as well.
And we saw, maybe he wasn't the fittest when he came in, but we saw against FC United that he's getting there, and he give the.
But he had that in-game experience, I think, where it was a very professional performance, especially towards the end. You know what I mean? Like, he knew to take that extra 5 seconds here and there. He knew to go down here and there. Which, of course, is when it's happening against you, you become so frustrated with it, don't you? But then when you are 1-0 down, 1-0 up, backs against the wall, you know, that's what you need.
I'll cover that in the Radcliffe game.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Joe Adams has come in. Joe played against us for Southport in the cup final last season. Was it Guiseley? I was talking to Nick, our commercial guy, and I don't think he'd seen Joe play, and I just said Joe's our best player in terms of all-round impact on the game, technical ability, physical ability, getting around the pitch. And we've seen that. He scored 3 goals for us already. Could be top scorer by the end of the season from a wide.
But I think it's confidence as well. Again, you can tell he's played at a National League North standard, because he's like, for example, I know we're going to come on to it, but that goal he scores against FC, you know, it's the confidence of being able to do that. To think, you know what, I'm cutting his hand, I'm going to have a pop here. You know, he created that space for himself. And I think. When we were a team that have lacked confidence for a few games, you need the balls of 1 or 2 just to carry you through, don't you? And I
also,
think that's sort
taking
of counted.
Responsibility.
And accountability.
I would take responsibility for having a go here, and if it goes horribly wide, you know, people
hold hands up.
We'll get back to that on the FC United game, because that was something that really impressed me. Kind of changed at the club. And then the last one coming in is Ollie Patrick has come in on loan from Accrington Stanley. And you know, he made that contribution against FC United, which we'll get to. But with us it's Friday, Sunday evening, isn't it? What is it? Whatever, the 28th or whatever we're on. We've not had a game this weekend, so we're looking at Ilkeston next week. I don't know how long that loan is.
No, I don't. Ollie Patrick's the defender, isn't he?
Ollie Patrick's kind of a midfielder.
Did he play centre back against FC?
No.
Who's that?
Well, that's one that we've missed off the list.
We've missed 2 off the list.
Because this is.
Do you know his name? Or do you want to talk about?
No, it's Dylan Thompson.
That's it. Well, okay. Ollie's great. Thanks, Ollie. But like, you know, moving on to Dylan Thompson. You know, that is a very. How did we get Dylan again? Is he on loan?
Dylan was at Nantwich.
That's it. And, young lad.
Yeah, and I read the words of Paul Cardwell, whatever he's called, who was the Warrington manager, who was the manager at Nantwich, and he was saying that they just got in a player on loan from Wrexham, which I know that Wrexham have been offering players out on loan. So he'd come in there, and Dylan had been injured. So
I see. So he kind of lost his place in the team.
Yeah, so it kind of.
So Dylan's played. I think he's played 2 games, hasn't he?
Yeah, he came on
against Mask, and then obviously played against FC. And against FC, he looked really confident. And I think, you know, we've had. I mean, we're going to come on to this, aren't we, in the games? But we conceded 4 goals a lot. Do you know what I mean? It feels like recently, and something had to change at the back. And I think Dylan's added a bit of pace and technical ability there. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, because I was filming the goals against FC United, I don't see the game. I don't see the attack. I don't see. I don't see that side of things other than in the distance. When I haven't got my glasses on, I'm clueless.
But I think he, again, was very calm on the ball and looked to pick out a pass as opposed to looking to just clear it. Do you know what I mean? He was very clever with it. Like, he'd very often touch it wide to the left wing and then we played against FC, especially in that first half, down that left side a lot, and then in the second half down the right side a lot. And I think a lot of that actually came from Dylan's ability to kind of pick that pass.
Right.
So yeah, he's a very, I think he's a very good signing. I think he's a very, very good, a risky signing really, considering
bringing in another young player
from the league below.
Yeah,
but then that's Atherton Coles. You know what I mean? It's kind of a blessing and a curse really, because we're never going to be able to afford established quality in this division. We've kind of got to make the quality ourselves, haven't we? We've done that down the years, up and down the years, through Marcus Cassani, Ethan Kershaw, and so on and so forth. And I think Dylan could be another one.
Yeah,
hopefully.
And another one missing off the list, of course. How could we forget Adam Dawson?
Adam Dawson, and he's been. He was frustrated against Marsk last Saturday, I think, and I think everybody was. And I think it was a game that just slipped away from us. But against FC, he was just unstoppable. They struggled. They struggled to keep hold of him. They struggled to get a grip of him, and I think that is, exactly what we need, because going forward, we've got ourselves into some good positions, but we've not been able to make anything of it. But I think what Adam does is he's got a relentless energy, I feel. Do you know what I mean? Like, he enjoys confusing defenders. That's why he wakes up in the morning. And I think that's actually took a lot of pressure off a Mansell.
Yeah.
I think that's took a lot of pressure off, or it will do. He didn't play on Tuesday, but I think that will take a lot of pressure off Jordan Scanlon.
Yeah.
And I think it should just open us up a little bit more.
I think we're now becoming aware of the fact if you get the ball into the 6-yard box, Mansell's got the presence, the intelligence, and the quality to put that ball in that net. If you don't supply him, he gets frustrated.
That second goal, I mean, Joe Adams' goal was a piece of quality, but that second goal to me said to me that, right, that's the kind of goal we need to be scoring. Do you know what I mean? That's a proper striker's goal where you're just sliding in. You want to get there first. You've got there first, and not only that, but you've actually sent it to the top corner of the net. It was a bloody good finish, and I think it's only sort of hidden in the shadows of Adams' quality, rightly so too.
I mean,
but you
don't play first team football for a league side unless you have got that quality.
And I think one thing people don't realise about Lewis Mansell is he's had a nasty injury. He's had nasty injuries.
He really hobbled off against Marsk, and I thought we're not seeing for a bit. My left hand is all over the place.
But the and that knocks your confidence, and we know we haven't got the easiest pitch on the world to play on. Do you know what I mean? And it's tough. It's tough, but yeah.
Adam can bamboozle the best of them, and he can whip it in with both feet. Yeah, that's the key thing. Both feet.
Yeah. And against FC, that first half, I was stood on the wing he was attacking in that big stand, and first half it was just a pleasure to watch him just boss the ball. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Should we rattle through these games?
We've got some journey to go on here, so strap yourself in, everybody.
We'll be as fast as we can. The Radcliffe game, just a couple of thoughts on this.
Well, Radcliffe was. Do you know what? It was a free hit, wasn't it? Because Radcliffe at that point was scoring goals for fun.
Still are.
I know, and they still are. Scoring winning games 4-0, and you're thinking, we're a young team at this stage of the season. We're still very much getting to know each other. Weren't we? This was only game 4 or 5 or something like that.
I think it was a little bit late. We're into the second block of 6.
Fine. But still early days, and you're thinking, you know what, they could put 4 or 5 passes, and that'll be okay. Do you know what I mean? But we gave it a good go, didn't we? The first half was brilliant.
The first goal ends up in the net.
Yeah.
That's all you can say. It ends up in the net.
I saw defenders' legs, I can't remember who it was, just fly in the air like that, and then all of a sudden the ball kind of scooped over, and I was like, how the hell's that gone in?
But the thing is that's the same way that Lancaster got the ball in the net against us as well.
Yeah.
It's like they haven't done enough to score against us, and the ball's ended up in the net. Yeah. And then what will be a reoccurring theme is Radcliffe get a penalty that just isn't a penalty.
Yeah.
It's a nonsense, and no one will claim it.
Did we lose that 2-0?
4-0.
Oh, right.
it was a heat wave, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hard.
Heads dropped.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that personally.
No.
But I 100% get why it happened.
Especially against a team like Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Radcliffe will win the league. They will win the league.
It's
and
over.
And as much as it pains me to say it, because I really don't like Radcliffe, you know, and I just think, I don't like. Whenever we've been there, it's been a grim experience.
I drove past it yesterday.
Did you?
And I live over there, and I'm having flashbacks. So do you remember that guy telling us we were going home in a Radcliffe wheelie bin?
Yeah.
What? I've even got wheelie bins, mate. You're part of you're Bury Kensal.
Yeah, and it's, but full credit to them, because I've got a lot of time for Bernard and Jono as managers.
Yeah.
I think they are so respectful of their own position in the league they're in, and they've built a quality team. They're a top quality team. So do you know what? They'll win the league. They're full value for it. All the best to them.
Yeah. So the Ashton games,
The FA Cup.
So one quick one on that.
I think one word we've got. There was a word Emile used, and you wouldn't have heard this word because obviously you were on the touchline filming, but when we were 2-0 down, all we wanted to see, and these were Emile's words but sum it up perfectly, we just wanted to see a bit of spunk. And you can imagine how he reacted, just as you would expect. He just shouted, "We just want some spunk, boys." And we did, and I thought that's the perfect way to describe it. We just wanted spunk. And then all out of nowhere, I think there is a foul on Mansell.
Yeah. Which
we're fired up.
Should have been a red card.
Should have been a red card.
Yeah.
We're fired up. They're fired up. And it should have been a red card because he's not a small lad. Through on goal, 1-on-1. He's taken from behind by the defender. Yeah. And it should have been a red card. But was it who scored the free kick? It was Dylan. Ben Rydell, that's it. And
Rydell, is it Rydell or Rydell?
I don't know.
I'm going to mix them up. Let us know then.
And it was an awesome free kick. And then there's some belief. And then second half... we dominated and we scored the equaliser, and you're thinking, do you know what, that'll do me. But we had a few chances to win the game, and you think, you know what, 2-2 full time, excellent.
Well, shout out to Jack Buckley for that save.
Yeah.
He needed to make on the 94th minute, a fantastic save. But before the game, Emile was asking me, what do you know? He's giddy as a kipper, isn't he, on a match day? What do you reckon? I was like, I've just looked at the team sheet. Jason Gilchrist is on the bench. Look at the quality they've got on the bench.
They're a funny club, Ashton United. They're a funny club.
I don't know if he wasn't fit or whatever, but we brought it back here, and Jason Gilchrist has punished us. And I'm just like, why would you not mark Jason Gilchrist? He's one of the most lethal finishers in the league, and you've just given him the freedom of the penalty box.
It was tough that again. It was a tough draw. And we didn't turn up at the replay. Yeah. And then
we scored first.
We scored first. It was that Nathan Kane goal, wasn't it?
No, it was Dylan scored again.
Oh,
Dylan Noonan scored again.
I don't know my arse from my elbow. No. But it was a tough one to take, that replay, I think.
And then...
but did they draw Lancaster away?
Yeah.
What an awful draw. Like, that would have been two horrific draws on the trot.
Write that one off. So Gainsborough, I didn't go to Gainsborough.
That was tough. Again, it was a similar vibe to the Ashton United game. All of a sudden, we found ourselves 2-0 down. Then we get a penalty. Jordan Scanlon steps up, 2-1. You're thinking, my God, we're going to do it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, we let a third in. It's just it took again.
Yeah.
It just took the sting out of the game, and we looked so passive for the rest of the game. And I interviewed Jimmy at full time, and he was so frustrated, and I think him and Chaddy were at a loss really, of sort of saying they can't do that. We tell them not to do that. We give them X, Y, and Z, for them not to do that, but they still are. And it was an interesting post-match interview, and you got the feeling that maybe things are going to change as a result of this. And it was Nathan Kane who scored against Bamber Bridge, wasn't it? It was that goal, and you're thinking, great, there we go. Yeah. And that Bamber Bridge defeat was a tough one to take because again, I don't think we deserve to lose.
No. Just going back to the Gainsborough, sorry. That off. So I watched it back on the system we've got, and the game's kicked off, and I looked at the referee. And I was
he had a funny game.
I was like, we're not in the best shapes of our lives, but I've got an excuse that I'm past the point of caring. Yeah. I don't get paid to keep up with semi-professional footballers.
Yeah.
I just thought there's absolutely no chance. This lad's got no chance. He looks way over the hill. I don't know if I can say that or not.
Well, he was quite tall, to be fair to him. But
he looked tall and wide, and I was like, what?
A very similar physique to me. But the players didn't like him because and you hear back, some of the things he was saying to the players, it was just, you wouldn't expect to have a referee. Do you know what I mean? Like he was telling them to shut up and stuff like that. And I think when you're a referee, you don't rub players up the wrong way. But to be honest, going back to that Gainsborough game again, it was always going to be a tough game because they just appointed the new manager. And do you know what I mean? That game couldn't have come at a worse time. And the manager, by the way, Russ Wilcox, who is somebody who's managed in the Football League. He was assistant manager of Brian Laws at Burnley in the Premier League 10 years ago, for Christ's sake. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then he took York City, got them promoted to League One. Scunthorpe United got them promoted and stuff like that. He's not small fry. He knows how to win football games, and that game was always going to be tough, but we made it on our side anyway, tougher than it needed to be. Do you know what I mean?
But in relation to the Bamber Bridge game, the referee for that game, I thought it had a really good game. I thought the referee, because I'm up there on my own, and I can hear the communication. I thought he's being respectful to the players here. He's explaining what he's given and why. He's not winding people up, so no one's having to go back at him. And then he's just come up with a decision to give people probably seen the screenshot that's gone round that shows that the penalty was given for a foul. How far outside is it? Like a yard.
Well, I was stood right in front of it, and I could not believe it.
It's a nonsense.
I was incandescent with rage.
So what can you do?
And that's when we're in the position we're in at that time.
Yeah, it's killed us.
It's a killer, and it is a killer, and then we go on to lose the game. And did we deserve to? We should have took our chances as and when they
their goal. To be fair, their goal to win it was just a quality ball. Yeah. And the lads turned one of our players inside out, possibly out of position, and it's a good finish. Yeah. I don't mind losing to that or dropping points to that bit of quality. Yeah. That refereeing decision from a guy who had a decent game was appalling. Yeah. A Hyde game.
Similar story.
We've gone in front again, haven't we?
Who scored that goal?
Joe Adams.
What kind of goal was it? I don't remember.
I think Jordan Scanlon played it across to him.
Yes, he did. And do you know what? That was good actually, because for the first time, Jordan Scanlon's a quality player. He's a quality player. But like Chaddy said at the start of the season, he's still got a lot to learn, hasn't he, about the world of football? Yeah. And I think he had been finding it tough because his chances had become quite snatched at. I think
he wants the ball like we saw pre-season. Played to him in the box and he'll just finish, and that's he could do that all day.
But I think in a competitive division like this, you're not
getting that time.
And I think the ball's come to him a couple of times. He's created his own opportunities, and it just hasn't paid off, has it? But then for the first time this season against Hyde, he squared the ball and we scored, and I thought, good for you, Jordan. Do you know what I mean? Because that is exactly the kind of shot he would have, took for himself, and it would have been saved. Do you know what I mean? The keeper was in a good position, so good for Jordan Scanlon there. But again, to lose 2-1, similar story. But I think, what I would say about those Bamber and Hyde games is you're disheartened. Of course, you're disheartened.
Well,
but you're not worried because there was some fight in the game. Do you know what I mean?
A bit like the Ashton United games. I was like, why would you not mark Jack Ridshaw? He had a brilliant game. He is one of the best players in this league. Yeah. We've come into this league and we don't really know the players. Yeah. I've never seen a Conference North game. I haven't got a clue who's who or what. And I saw him play for Clegg's Ashton United a couple of seasons ago. I think he might have been on loan from Chester even. He was just buzzing. Yeah. He's not a big lad. No. But he just puts himself about. He's just a nuisance, absolute nuisance.
Very busy.
And I was like, why? I know that I think for the second one, Booney wipes him out. Yeah. A split second after he's made the contact, which goes into the net. And Booney's just a natural defender, and he's sensed the danger.
Yeah.
And it's just a hundredth of a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the minute margins.
But it was competitive, and I think, you know, you come away from those two games and you think, you know what, we've lost.
Yeah, we should have got something out of those games.
We were competitive, and I think that was and I think, you know, moving forward to the Ferriby game.
Yeah, I didn't go to that, so
that was. Where do you even start with that one? It was tough. It was a tough afternoon, and we just weren't there.
Yeah.
We weren't there, and it is very hard. And do you know what? The good thing is, you feel bad but the good thing is, Chaddy recognises this himself, so you don't feel bad for saying it. Do you know what I mean? Because he pinpoints it himself. But we just weren't competitive in that game. We lose 4-0, and we deserved to. There's no two ways about it. I think we had our first shot on target in the second half. Do you know what I mean? And it was a tough afternoon, and it had all the hallmarks of an absolute sort of classic Coles away day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a good following. Everybody was in a good mood. We were all stood together. We were making a bit of noise with the drum and stuff like that. And then we concede 2 very quick, very easy goals. And you think you were 2-0 down here. And you're thinking, can we do another Ashton United? That's what you always go back to.
Yeah.
But we didn't. It just got worse and worse and worse. And there's one player I want to give a bit of a shout to. Well, 2 players here. Josh Solomon-Davies, who was immediately after that game going on international duty with the St. Lucia, picked up an injury. But we'd made our substitutions, and it meant we'd be going down to 10 men. And he played on. He played with an injury, and I thought, full credit to you. Do you know what I mean? Like I said to it, second half there was only sort of 3 or 4 of us behind the goal, and I said to Emil, I said, my God, full credit to him, because if my team was 4-0 down, I was at risk of a worse injury, you know, or you know, I would just say, I'm going off. I've got international duty, but he stayed on. And then second one to Josh Askew, who just came over at full time and just said, I'm really, really sorry. And I thought, well, fair play. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
no one's here to hang anyone out to dry or to criticise anyone. We're here to promote the club, essentially. As speaking as supporters, and we're here to back the players and the management all the way, absolutely. And to get a little bit of respect back.
Yeah. And I think
you don't need to apologise.
No, you don't need to apologise. But it was reassuring, you know, in a way, to sort of realise that right, that's not something they deem as acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's no from a, you know, we often say, you know, with the voice of Coles, it's very, very hard to put a positive shine on that. Do you know what I mean? It's impossible, really. But again, I think the reaction in the guys of the game is that positive spin. Now, I didn't go to the guys again, but you did, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I was stood behind the nets filming the goals. I don't see the full game, but I have had the chance to watch it back.
Yeah.
At 2-0, we'll go through those goals in a little bit of detail. At 2-0, we were saying that their keeper won't need to wash his shirt.
Yeah.
It's not getting used, you know. And then bang, bang, we're back in it.
Yeah.
The goals, unfortunately, there's a bit of a common theme of, was it Tom Denton, their player, he's about 6'7",
right, okay.
if he's not bigger than 6'7", and he's just not picked up. It makes no sense. The ball's put to the back stick, and I just think that because we've let goals in pre-season to them throw-ins, and people have just gone, oh, we'll do that. And people are just putting the ball into the back stick. And it was like
it's like a lapse in concentration, isn't it? Well, then, you know, we got 2-0 down, but then we show great character to bring it back to 2-2. Because I see it on Twitter. I was in work late that night. Saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh my God, here we go again. You're thinking it's going to be for this again.
We've got a free kick on the edge of the box. And Joe Adams has taken it. And for Ben Rydell to not take that, I'm thinking this lad must have something.
Yeah.
And what a fantastic free kick.
Yeah.
And then Ben's popped up with a goal from the edge of the box. It's just a fantastic strike. Like we've seen pre-season, he can do that. Absolutely. Just the quality he's got in striking the ball so cleanly. And then we've gone down to a penalty, which by all accounts just isn't a penalty. And I've seen it, and all I see is a hand go out and touch someone who's going away from goal and he's gone over.
Yeah.
But apparently, even the lads admitted diving, and the linesman didn't think it was a pen.
Oh, really?
Unverified, but that's what I got told. They've robbed us.
Yeah.
Absolutely robbed us there. And then, I want to give one shout out there. On the 94th minute, they're killing the game, and you fully expect that. They got the ball in the corner. Jack Evans tries to do something about it and gets sent off.
Oh, right, yeah.
I watched that back, and it's not even a yellow card.
Is it?
But do you know what? If Jack Evans had smashed into him, he'd get my backing, because he's just an archetypal Coles player.
Well, it shows we're not going to roll down and have our bellies tickled, does it? Do you know what I mean? And I think it can be tough to take, I think, sendings off, you know, but I think if there's a sending off for the right reason, that's fine. Like, for example, there was a tackle against FC United, resulted in a yellow card, but it was a good professional foul, you know what I mean? I thought, well done.
Yeah.
But then it's a funny one, really, because we have a bit of time off there, don't we? Because Macclesfield's called off because of the FA Cup. And then Marsh United at home, which was a biggie, wasn't it?
It was just a huge game.
It was a huge game, and it didn't click, did it?
There's so many things going on in that game that I've just got no explanation for. But the first one is that they're trying to hurry us up after about 20 minutes. They're complaining to the referee that we're taking our time with goal kicks and set pieces and whatever. You know, I don't know if we were or not, if they were just on at the referee, but they were at it. Yeah, they were. They were at it.
They looked more sort of ferocious. They looked busier. They looked livelier. To be honest, it looked as if they were at home and we were away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was their number 10. I can't remember the name for him, but he was just always in your face. And it was. I thought, he's a bloody good player, and he scored a goal or two, I think.
Well, he scored the third one, didn't he? But in the first half, he's doing what so many players have done against us this season, which is one of my gripes. He's pulling shirts and shorts, and
it's not being picked up, is it?
You just don't see it being picked up, although it did get picked up at FC United against us, bizarrely enough.
Yeah.
I was like, is this... I've said this probably 100 times already. Is this allowed now? Or
well, this is the problem, and I think because it's well documented, referees are getting pushed up from the leagues below, and they are, because there is just a complete shortage of officials in this country, and the quality's not there. And there's
a shortage of quality. That's for sure.
And
I don't want to overcorrect referees.
No,
praise the guy who refereed the Bamber Bridge game.
I wouldn't want to do it. And to be honest, I think the referee who refereed the Mars game had a good game. I think it's just, apart from that foul on Mansell, which was clearly a foul at the end of the first half. It's frustrating, because in the games where it matters, your Guisleys, your Bamber Bridges, your so on and so forth, it's a sucker punch, isn't it?
Well, you've seen the Rylands game that we've scored a goal.
Yeah.
That was given us offside.
It was clearly.
It was just a nonsense of a decision.
Yeah.
And apparently it's the same linesman that didn't give the foul on Mansell against Marsk. Apparently.
No, that was the linesman against Bamber Bridge. That gave the penalty. So that was the same line.
Okay.
But I mean, look, that Rylands decision, in retrospect, at the time you're thinking, you know what, we'll take a draw against Rylands. It's a good point. But like, you look back at it now and you think, my God, imagine we got 3 points there. But I mean, considering how the two teams have gone on this season, Rylands have gone up second in the table. We're obviously second to bottom. But yeah, it was. Do you know what? This season has provided, I would say, I'd say probably one of the highest highs in our Northern Premier League history, Premier Division, obviously, and then one of our lowest lows. And I would say that Mars game was probably one of the lowest lows, because at full time, you feel empty, don't you?
Yeah.
I felt empty, and I think the players did as well. I think they felt empty. I think Chaddy felt empty, because he thought, you know, this is not the side that I've built.
We've gone in 2-0 down. The first goal is just a nonsense. If you look at a clip that I did, where we've got 4 players this side of the goal, and we've got they've got 3 that side on Lewis Coulter's on his own. They've got 3 players. The ball comes over, it's in the net. The second goal's even worse. Yeah. And but it's only 2. Are you thinking, right, they're having a half time, they're going to come out in the second half absolutely fired up.
And it just didn't happen.
And within about 30 seconds, they've hit the bar.
Yeah.
Then Nico's had to pull off a save. Like at this point, Nico's our best player.
Absolutely.
And then the ball's ended up in the net and it's over. Yeah. And that's on 46 minutes. Yeah. And I just want to go home at that point. Yeah. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
No.
But one of the points I'll make is that people don't go home.
No, exactly.
And you've got to keep on playing for those people who've come to watch.
We're not that kind of club.
No.
We're not that kind of club.
No.
And I think the Mars game will prove to be one of the most important games of the season, because I think everybody actually, I think the players and the management sat up and sort of said, that's not fair. What we've just done isn't fair. No. You know, we are not the kind of club where fans just go to the road.
I've never heard people criticise our players before.
No.
And I heard it then. And something's got to happen.
Yeah, and the players themselves would admit, rightly so, because that you cannot turn around and say losing 4-1 at home to one of your relegation rivals is acceptable.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they didn't, and I think there was a lot of soul searching that went on there. And do you know what? That FC United game,
I didn't see it coming, but that was like a redemption.
But I thought, do you know, going into that game, I thought, do you know what? This has come at the perfect time, because if they're not going to get fired up for this one, they're not going to get fired up for anything. Do you know what I mean?
Done.
Because it's Chaddy's old stomping ground.
A lot of the players have played there. It's a fantastic facility to play in, and it's a fantastic facility to cause an upset in. Yeah, but to be fair, I didn't rate FC United. You look at the team sheet, and there's no Jack Redshaw or Jason Gilchrist.
No, I know that, but I also think as well, to be fair, we gave them in that game very little opportunity to play.
No,
I thought we were, and do you know what? This is what I'm talking. You had your lowest low with Mask.
Yeah.
That for me is the highest high.
Yeah.
Because it came from absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
You're at your lowest point morally,
yeah.
and you're thinking, you know, you're sort of going into the game, you're not knowing what to expect, and from minute 1, I thought we're going to get something here, because we just started playing with confidence. We were linking up. The fella on the wing, I've forgotten his name, number 11, Adam, was creating chances. Yeah. Mansell was getting onto them, and Sidi Fofana was carrying the ball from halfway to the box and sort of running past 2-3 players. The centre-back, the young lad, what's he called? Dylan. He was awesome. Nico was bossing that box.
Yeah.
And we're going at 0-0, and I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That was the performance we needed. You know, Chaddy has worked a miracle here in terms of the turnaround from that performance to this performance, and I was so proud of Chaddy and his team, because it takes balls to sort of stand up and be counted. And full credit to Chaddy, he never shirks an interview. He says it is. He was in the clubhouse for 2 hours after the game against Marsh United, having just lost 4-1, with Jimmy, with Wazza, with the lads. He was speaking to the fans, and I just thought, everything you said in that clubhouse at full time, you have put into place against FC United this afternoon. And then second half, we were the better team. We deserved the results for 2 reasons. That up until that Joe Adams goal, we were very much in firm control of the game. Bit of quality, 1-0. The defensive display that came afterwards.
So FC United had the chances.
Oh my God!
A lot of chances.
Yeah, they hit the
but they did. But it's those micro decisions, like when they did have chances. Like one of the guys had a header, clear, free header. But we were close enough that you made him snatch it.
Do you know what? Because, and I think we looked, and I used this word in the interview at full time, we looked calm.
Yeah.
We looked calm. Nico looked calm in the saves that he was making. The young lad from Norwich looked calm. And when we were playing out, once we'd cleared our lines. We looked calm, and I think that's ultimately what allowed us to go on to score the second. And, I hope that is a turning point, and I hope that...
It kind of has to be.
Of course it does.
But, we've seen what we're capable of.
Because that was it, and I think that's why, and it's going to be easy to say this if we win the next two, do you know what I mean? But we can only deal with what we've got, can't we? Perhaps those games against North Therapy, against Marsk, are more useful than we understand, because it's easier to identify the problems in those games and sort of say this needs changing, this needs changing, this needs changing. We've got this young defender in from Nantwich, we've pushed a couple down onto the bench, we've brought a couple up and they're starting now. Maybe this is the team we need to go with instead. Do you know what I mean? And I think against FC we saw that, and against FC it worked.
Oh, categorically that's the team you've got to play.
Definitely.
On the back of that.
It's frustrating really that we didn't have a game this weekend.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we'd have been at it.
But it's frustrating. But it's also nice. You know what I mean? To
have a bit of a breather.
To have that breather again, and we've had two breathers now, which you don't often get in this league.
They played a game yesterday.
They played with Marine, didn't they?
Yeah. Which would have been a good run out.
Yeah. A few academy lads playing in that as well.
Chance to just try and get across some ideas. I spoke to Warren. I speak to Warren after most games, but they just don't get the time on the training pitch to get across entirely what they want people to do.
But then we've also proved it really that look, they didn't have any training time between the Marsk and the FC game.
Yeah,
so again,
it's in your locker.
It's the simplicity, and I was so proud of Chaddy at full time, and that's one of the best interviews I've ever had the pleasure of doing, really, because I thought, here's a man that has worked his hardest since coming into this job. Here's a man that has been given an impossible job, almost.
Yeah.
And he deserves this to win on his old stomping ground 2-0. And we were full value for it. And I've never, I was so proud to be a Coles fan in that stand.
It felt like in that game, certainly in the final moments, that the things that have been missing this season came together.
Absolutely.
That Siddy was the first person over to celebrate with us.
Yeah.
And our supporters being together is a great help. Watching the footage back from the camera on the other side, our supporters out-sing, you're in amongst it, so it sounds louder to you. Yeah. We are louder than their 1,000 and whatever. We've silenced them.
And maybe, we've talked about, and again, we're only speculating here because we've got nothing else to go off really. But we often, at the start of the season, we talked about it will take time. We've said it will take time. Maybe it's just taking a bit longer than we expected. Maybe this game is the turning point, and maybe we are going to kick on from here.
Well, we've shown what we can do.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, I suppose it's very hard to be positive given the run of results we were on, but I don't think we've been overly negative at all. But that game against FC was quality, and thank you to those lads that put on those shirts 1 to 11, because it's a night that will go down in this club's history without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, Warren spoke about playing for the badge.
Yeah.
And I think the implication there was that people weren't doing. And I think after that night, I think that brings the bonds between the supporters and the playing side together.
And I think it shows how patient we as supporters are, because we're still singing David Chadwick's Barmy Army.
There was a flag.
Yeah, there was a flag saying David Chadwick's Barmy Army, keep us up, Chaddy. And I think people believe, people want it to work, and we're fully behind Chaddy, and we have been frustrated alongside him, not at him.
Yeah, no, not at all.
We've been frustrated alongside him, because we can see how hard he's working. We can see all the ingredients are there.
You can see he's hurting as well. And he's just a likeable guy. He's just a genuine, honest person doing his absolute best.
Absolutely.
And this is why I'm happy to work with him.
Absolutely.
Because he's never, ever come across as being cocky, arrogant.
Getting a drink in the clubhouse after conceding 4 goals at home, it's character. That is character.
Yeah.
And we know how tough this... we talked a lot about this before. The financial extremes in this division have never been never been bigger. Because some of the wages. I saw an FC fan comment on something saying they've got one of the lowest budgets in the league, and
I think they possibly have, because if
not lower than us.
No. If you look at the players, I think their left back came from forward amateurs last season.
I know, but I can only use Jay Fitzmartin as an example.
Yeah.
And the pay rise.
Yeah, sure.
The difference.
Yeah, I don't think
pay rise is the wrong word, but we're not going to get into that.
No,
but
I don't think they're in the same category as the upper echelons.
Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, if FC have got a small budget, we can only dream of having that small budget. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's rebel football for you, Zach.
The People's Club taking your drum off you as you come in,
sticking it to the van,
literally, and giving you dirty looks for filming. Do you know what I mean? You got a right side eye. So it was that, and that
sterile.
It was bizarre FC that game because it was streamed, and apparently there were 1,310 on that night. If there were 1,310 on, I'll cut off my left arm. There was barely 1,000.
Yeah, I was going to say 800. Yeah,
easy. It's in a weird place, that club at the moment. I think.
Not our problem though.
No.
Yeah, we enjoyed that.
Yes, we did, and it was deserved.
Yeah. So we'll just talk back to Josh Solomon-Davies.
Yeah.
For those international games he played, first Coles international, we think Wells being at the club.
Yeah, and just to go back to Jay Fitzmartin, it was great to see him. He's a great lad, isn't he? He's a great lad. I mean, you don't really know him, but honestly, he's such a great lad, and it was good to see him there. And I hope he's enjoying it. FC United is a chance he deserves. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's a chance.
Well, no, but he deserves to play in front of a crowd of 1,800 against Ratcliffe, whatever they've got. But
I mean, play in the Conference North.
That's true.
Give yourself a stepping stone to an actual.
But Jay did everything he could at this club while he was here, so full credit to him. And that pay thing wasn't a knock at him. I was just saying that.
It's the reality of the situation.
He got a pay rise, of course he did.
Yeah. Not the first person to leave this club and get more money.
There's no shame in it.
It's the nature of the beast.
But anyway, Josh Solomon-Davies, yeah. I mean, I must admit, I couldn't point to St. Lucia on a map, and that's my own ignorance, really. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, I'm like, who pays your airfare? Are you paying it yourself, or are they paying for it? Or, it's interesting. And he's a good player,
isn't he?
He's a good player, and he's one of those, I think, that genuinely likes playing for the football club. I think against Baseford, I always go back to that goal he scored against Baseford in the last minute to snatch a point, and I'm just like, there is somebody that wants to pay for Carlton again against North Ferriby when he decided to stay on despite being injured. I'm like, full credit to you. Do you know what I mean? So
with the international games and with him coming in late, maybe wasn't as fit as he could have been.
No.
So these games we've had recently and this weekend and a chance to have a bit of a run out.
Yeah.
I think from this point onwards we start seeing Josh,
definitely
the real Josh that did so well at Marine.
Yeah.
Then we've got Bonfire Night, haven't we, coming up?
Yeah,
that's a big one.
That's the Sunday after. That's the day after the Ilkeston game.
Yeah.
Bonfire Night. It's a classic at the Coles. You know what I mean? And it really is, and it's one of the main sources of it. We talk about us having a small budget, and we do. And one of the main sources of income we have throughout the year is Bonfire Night, because it's a real opportunity for us to welcome the community, for them to sort of invest in our club, whether that be through buying a pint, through the admittance ticket, and it really, really, really is so important, and it's a great night. Do you know what I mean? You get full value for your money.
There's a fairground.
There's a fairground. You'll notice one of the corner sort of side the fence has been replaced with temporary fence in sort of preparation for that. The fireworks are legendary. And it really is. If you come to Coles games and you've never been to a Bonfire Night before, check it out, because it's rammed. It's absolutely rammed. You can
hardly walk through the place.
It's standing room only, and it's superb to see. And full credit to Paul Gregg and everyone else on the committee, because it's some operation. Even just buying the fireworks and setting them on fire is some operation. that is where we are at our best. I'll say that. That is where we are at our best. So, yeah.
And we've got Christmas markets.
Yeah, we
I
have.
didn't write the date of that down. I've always thought that's something we should have on here. Because you got the space on the car park, and you got the facilities here to have like markets, farmers markets, that type of stuff. I think that's a really good idea.
I think it's Josie who runs the tea hut that has arranged that. And there's a group of the Coles Gals, as they are known, or I think it's the Coles Gals v the Coles Girls. I think this is the Coles Girls who kind of work in the tea hut and behind the bar. They work tirelessly, and it is tirelessly because again, it takes some organising this to put on these events. So I think they did there was a fair on a couple of months ago, wasn't there? I can't remember what that was for. They've done these Christmas markets.
Family Day.
That's it. They've done the Family Day, and it's all them. They do all the organisation. So again, thank you. Check it out. Come down because it's some job they're doing. So yeah.
If anyone's got any other ideas and stuff like that, or things, ways they think they can help out, then
get involved for sure.
And then we've got the upcoming fixtures, which these are a bit out of date. The Stafford game yesterday was postponed
because of the trophy. How did they go on? Did they lose or did they win?
I think they might have lost.
Right. Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
We saw there'd been some shenanigans there. I don't know. We saw.
Yeah.
Not quite sure.
I couldn't work that out, to be honest.
So.
But we've got Ilkeston at home on Saturday. They're a team that have come into the division. Don't know much about them, but they've started well.
Yeah.
They've started really well. So that'll be an interesting game. Worksop away on Saturday, which I think Worksop's is that Sheffield way.
Kind of, yeah.
Tough game. They've started really well, haven't they? And I think that's the funny thing about this season. All the promoted teams are doing well.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And then we've got
Bacup Borough game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
In the Lancashire Trophy.
That'll be full-blooded. Brent will want to win that game. Do you know what I mean? And Emil and I went to, when we were supposed to be playing Macclesfield and it got called off because obviously they were in the cup, we went to Exton against Bacup.
Right.
And it was a game and a half. I think Exton ended up winning like 5-3 or something like that. But they've got sin binnings in the counties now, haven't they?
Yeah.
And in the words of Emil, we were the only two in the ground that weren't sin binned for it. Like there was at one point they were down to 7 or something like that. It was madness. But they didn't concede. Bacup that will be a tough game. We love the Lancs Cup. Yeah. That will be a tough game. They're all tough.
And then what for that? And then
we're at home against somebody. Oh yeah, we're at home against Marine.
Yeah, and then Macclesfield away.
No, then we're at home. Oh yeah, is that midweek?
Yeah, 21st. That's been penciled in.
God's sake.
Exactly. I'm not at that one.
And then we've got Ashton United at home. It's a tough month.
Well, we are Ashton United one. We know what they're all about.
Absolutely.
And I fully believe that if you stick tight to Jason Gilchrist, then maybe.
But it's a tough month. Stick with it, guys. You know, there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs. Of course there is. Yeah. But after that FC game, one thing we can say for sure is they love this club and they want to win. So that's all we can ask for, isn't it?
Yeah. Kind of took that to spark us into doing this, didn't it?
Of course it did.
People showing what everything's about: pride, passion,
absolutely,
commitment,
absolutely.
People might have been questioning those, and they were there for all to see.
Absolutely.
In
against FC United, from Nico all the way down to Lewis Mansell. They put their bodies on the line that game, and long may it continue. What will Locust to bring? Who knows? But we know we can turn up on Saturday in the confidence that we've got a squad that want to play for this football club, and they've shown against FC United. They'll put it on with pride and they'll leave everything out on the pitch. That is all we want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that is all we can ask for. If we lose, we lose. But as long as you've left everything on that pitch, that's all we can ask for.
Yeah, so, people can get behind that at the end of the day.
So only time will tell.
Should we look at doing one then after that run of games, maybe before
Morpeth?
Yeah, before the Christmas run.
We play Morpeth on the 3rd of December, so we'll do one before Morpeth, so then people have got something to watch on the coach up. I do like Morpeth away. It's a right bastard, but it's good. It's like, you know, when you see the Angel of the North, you think, yeah, it was worth it. But it is a bastard of a journey, I tell you that much.
I've only been once. It was midweek. It was that game.
Was it
3-0? We lost.
Lost, yeah. I've never seen us win up there.
Awful trip back.
But we last season we went up there. Lovely journey. We had a lovely coach. Yeah. And I think we lost 2-0 or something. And we were awful. We were truly awful.
But it does take it out of you.
Yeah, it does. My tip for Morpeth, you've never been to Morpeth before, get on the coach, drink as much as you possibly can, because that journey home flies by. I think me, Rob, the Coles Gals and Sarah Hobson were playing a game of Would You Rather for about 2 hours, and it felt like 20 minutes. I didn't want it to end in the end, so yeah, bring it on.
We've just pulled into the ground. Can we stay here? On the coach and continue?
So yeah.
Right, so it's been a bit of a long episode, and sorry for dragging on a bit, and sorry for not.
Up on, haven't we?
Yeah, and we'll be down here on Saturday, so hopefully we'll see you then.
Yeah, see you then.
Cheers.